Okay, you guys, we are back with another banging video. In this video, we're going to talk about Tom Brady's ex-wife, Giselle Bundchen, because recently she got married to her jiu-jitsu boyfriend, Joaquin Valente, and according to inside sources from media reports, they are saying that her family were advising her against the marriage because of the wealth gap. Because you know that Giselle, she has a pretty penny to last her the rest of her life. And her family, they're telling her the marriage would be an imbalance and calling it a mistake, while Giselle has expressed feeling back in control of her life. Insiders say she may already regret the decision due to family pressure and concerns about wealth disparity. You guys know that's LA. You guys know even if Giselle has the ironclad prenup, it's not going to protect her if she stays in the marriage for a couple of years. You know what I would do if I was Giselle? I would tell this man I want a divorce in 9 months and say, you know what, I want to keep the relationship, but I think I was a bit too hasty on the marriage end, and jump out of the marriage. Because these men, you see, this is why it is always important for us to think like men. Tyler Perry wrote that book. Wasn't it Tyler Perry? Act like a woman, but think like a man. That is such a necessity, especially in today's day and age when you listen. I'm a firm believer that men should be providers. I'm a firm believer that men should not take women's money. There are too much bitch ass niggas around. Far too many bitch ass niggas. You watch women going to work. They have to clean the house. They have to do the laundry. They have to prepare the meals. They have to take care of the kids. And then they have to contribute to the household financially. And the man just goes to work, comes back home with his cheesy, dirty ass feet up. I don't know how some women do that, you know. I don't know how some women do that, but it could never be me. Honey, when I tell you that everyone has their journey in life for a reason, God knows that. What? Have you ever, listen, I don't even think a man and a woman living together should use the same bathroom. I don't think a man and a woman who lives together should share the same bathroom. I think a woman should always have her own bath. Have you ever smelled a man after his day's work who uses the bathroom? Even when they have the best of hygiene, you as a woman, do you want to use that shower after? Give him some scrubbing bubbles and say, oh, remember the scrubbing bubbles when you're finished showering? Aren't you a woman? Let me tell you, that is why women have so much trauma, and so many women are not willing to admit it. That's why women have so many traumas, and that is why so many women are dying leaving their husbands. Stop trying to be Miss Goody Two-Shoe. You don't need to be good for nobody but you. You see, sometimes when I look back at how Kris Jenner cultures her kids, I give her praise, because she's not a perfect mom, but her kids turned out to be the best. I don't agree with her pimping them, but the way in which she manages her kids and pushes them and ensures that they achieve the best out of life, kudos to Kris Jenner. Hats off to her, because if Giselle Bundchen was Kris Jenner's daughter, Giselle would have to tie up every business in some LLC and something where no matter how the marriage turns, Joaquin could not get his hands on her money. But no, the relatives have advised her to just live with him rather than marrying, citing the risk of marrying someone with far less wealth. But they have already married, to my understanding. It says they got married late 2025. They tied the knot quietly after welcoming their baby boy February of that year. The family's not happy. They're telling Giselle that she should have just lived with him. Listen, I've seen women on YouTube, and some of these women are women that I've been following for years, maybe 15, 20 years at this point. And these women, they have spouses and they don't want to get married. And every time people would be in their comment section saying, you guys have been together since you were kids. Why don't you get married? And these girls would say they're good. They don't need to be married. Those are smart girls, because that tells you that that girl has the most in that relationship and she ain't about to risk it for no one. People need to understand that while it's good to be married, it's more important for you to be mentally stable. And do you know that you could do a spiritual marriage instead of the one that you sign on paper? You can go in front of a pastor, go through the process of a marriage without signing the marriage documents. You can do that. If you say what we're doing is fornication, and because the paper is what makes it legally binding. You don't need the legally binding part. You need the spiritually binding part. You don't need the legally binding part, because the legally binding part is what is ruining a lot of people. Britney Spears gave over $75 million to Kevin Federline, and then she still had to pay him child support. And even when the child support was done, Kevin Federline was writing book about Britney. Madonna paid out one of the heaviest divorce settlements in America's history. Maybe over $200 million when she was much younger. And this is why you'll never see Madonna getting married again. You will never see that woman walking down no aisle with no one. It's because of that. Janet Jackson had to pay a backup dancer just the same. Mariah Carey with the first husband, not in the canon. Women need to understand that you could do a spiritual communion without the legalities attached to it. If you have good money, more than the man, especially if you live in California and some other states where the prenup still, California prenups are just weird. In California, prenups are just weird because prenup still doesn't protect you after a couple of years. It literally doesn't. It does not. And this is why Giselle family, they're scared for her. And I'm scared for her too. Why did Giselle marry that man? My God, why did she marry? Listen, I believe that man has just been playing his cards right. I don't believe he loves Giselle. I don't believe he loves her. I believe he has an obsession with her. And I believe that the obsession has tricked her into believing that Joaquin loves her. But I don't think he loves her. I genuinely don't believe he loves her. I believe that if he had loved Giselle after her divorce, he wouldn't be so quick to impregnate her. And she should have protected herself as well. What did Tom Brady... Tom, what did you do to Giselle? Did you cheat on her with a man? Because it's only when a man cheats on his wife with a man, a woman is so quick to move on and wanting to get you out. Did you cheat on that? Did you cheat on your wife with a man, Tom? It's a question. Because why was Giselle so hasty? There was no need. She should have been out here dipping and doing, living her best life, partying up. Okay, you got married to the guy, Giselle. Get a divorce in 9 months, honey. Get a divorce in 9 months. Get a divorce in 9 months. Give him $300,000 and let him be. You don't need that. There's far too many hotties out there. And if you're looking for a spiritual man, David Carradine is gone. David Carradine is gone. And I don't want anyone to tell me, but he loves her. How do you know that? Does that look like a man who loves a woman? No. He tied himself to her. Joaquin tied himself to Giselle because of her fame. He doesn't really love her. He's obsessed with her. And Giselle needs to call that marriage to an end. She needs to give him $300,000. I hope she hasn't bought a house with him. He might be living in her house. He might have a nice house. He may have a nice house because he does earn good money. But I support Giselle's family on this, according to the insider. I know she has good lawyer, but Giselle, what did Tom do to you so bad? Do you see how Tom is out here taking his time, protecting his money? Because Tom knows how hard he had to work for it. And Tom is not willing to give that up to any other female besides you. Why didn't you just dip and do and then go back to Tom? Now you're with someone that's below you financially, and you're gonna have to give him money, honey. Anyway, I wish you all the best, Giselle. I do. But anywho, guys, what do you think? Do you think that Giselle should get a divorce in 9 months? Because I think she should. Don't let it get to 1 year. That's California, honey. Don't let it get to a year. Divorce him in 9 months. Give him $300,000. Tell him you still want to keep the relationship, but you just want to live together because you think you were a bit too hasty on the marriage. Tell him that I need some more time. I definitely see us doing this again in the future, but let us see how things goes. Let's see what we can build. Force him to make himself some money. Tell him that he needs to make himself some money. He needs to prove that should you lose your money, he's willing to take care of the family. Giselle is always buying the bread. It's true. She's always buying the bread. It's true. Giselle is always buying the bread. It's true. She's always buying the bread. Giselle is like me. When I go on my walks, I'll buy a bread and walk back with it in my hands. Because candle bag or, the little grocery plastic bags that they used to give you in the grocery stores, they've banned them in Jamaica. So these stores, they're so evil because they used to give you the plastic bags for free. Now they're selling you recycled bags. And it's the same cost to make the plastic bags, but now they're selling you the recycled bags. Some of them for 50 Jamaican dollars. And after you check how many of them you have in your home, you're like, that's $600. I'm not going to buy any more. I need a bread dough and I'm not going to come back on the road. And everyone eats bread. Why not I take this bread home in my hand? Who cares? And save yourself $50. So I'm always fucking with the bread like Giselle. Giselle is always buying the bread. Oh my God. Joaquin. We've never seen Joaquin buying a bread. So it means Giselle is the breadwinner. That's the point I'm getting at if you guys missed it. She's the breadwinner. She's always buying the bread. Oh my God. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Peace.